Good afternoon, I'm Rob Boskamp, and you're listening to South Texas Midday. Thank you for joining me on this Thursday, September 4th. Corpus Christi City Council is expected to vote on the city's rapid pavement program this Tuesday. The program repairs streets throughout Corpus Christi and is funded through 2028. The Corpus Christi Public Works Department is considering a proposal to extend the plan through 2031 for $31 million per year. City leaders told KRAS 6 News that the money goes towards repairs for local, collector, and arterial streets. The target goal is 31 center miles per year. That vote will happen at next week's City Council meeting, but earlier this week, City Council passed a motion to create a vacant building registration fee. The fee will be $250 for both residential and commercial properties deemed vacant. Development Services Director Michael Dice said during this week's City Council meeting that the program is much needed.
We don't have abatement budget to maintain any of these properties, so what this will do is help give us that budget. It's assessing a fee on an absent property owner.
City leaders said this will help preserve police and fire resources frequently called to the properties. According to KIII News, in the past year, first responders have made about 20,000 calls to over 1,300 properties in the city. Yesterday was the beginning of a new era as the new Harbor Bridge's US 181 northbound exit to Beach Avenue opened to commuters. And while it provides new access to the North Beach area, that also means the end of an era as the old Harbor Bridge is now permanently closed. Pedestrians and cyclists will now use the shared use path North Trailhead entrance located along the East Causeway Boulevard frontage road at the crosswalk between Surfboard and Gulf Spray Avenue. Multiple agencies in the Crossroads region responded to a brush fire last night near the McFadden area along US 77. The fire began from lightning strikes from a thunderstorm that moved through the area. The blaze is now contained and no injuries were reported, according to the Victoria Fire Department. Mexican military trucks were spotted in the Rio Grande Valley yesterday, and they were being escorted by state officials. A convoy was spotted on Interstate 69 in Harlingen, and the trucks were being escorted by the Texas Department of Public Safety and Border Patrol. DPS told Valley Central News the Mexican military were being escorted to the Louisiana state line for training with the U.S. military. Director of Army North Public Affairs Colonel Beth R. Smith told Valley Central that U.S. service members and members from the Secretaría de la Defensa Nacional will participate in a military training exercise at the Joint Readiness Training Center at Fort Polk, Louisiana. Yorktown Memorial Hospital, long considered one of the most haunted sites in South Texas, may soon be shutting its doors. City officials have said the property is unsafe for public events. The hospital changed ownership 2 months ago when Curious Twins Paranormal and Ghost Tours purchased the property. The city of Yorktown later posted a notice declaring the building closed to the public. Stephen and Fred Guzman, who run the tour company, told 25 News Now that Yorktown Memorial has operated more as a private institution for research and education, and that the move to close it is unlawful.
We're working with the legal system. Yorktown has not replied to us. They have not set a meeting, even though we are welcome to have a meeting. This is not necessarily a fight that we want to fight. It's just a fight that we have to fight because that history is important to tell. And we're going to do our best to make sure the community knows its history and knows its roots.
In response to the city's notice, the Guzmans have shifted to a membership-only model requiring visitors to register before touring the property. They said they are also pursuing legal options, noting that city leaders have not scheduled a meeting with them despite their requests. In state news, Texas Republicans are sending a bill to Governor Abbott that intends to dissuade future quorum breaks. The measure was passed in response to Texas Democrats' quorum break last month. The Texas Newsroom's Blaze Gainey has the details on the measure, House Bill 18.
Corpus Christi Republican Senator Adam Hinojosa carried the legislation in the Senate. He laid out what the bill does on the chamber floor on Wednesday.
Members, House Bill 18 establishes penalties for lawmakers who intentionally break quorum for the purpose of bringing the Texas legislature to a halt. The bill does this by prohibiting legislators from fundraising or making certain expenditures while absent from the state without leave for the purpose of breaking quorum.
Specifically, the bill would fine members up to $5,000 for each donation accepted during a quorum break and fine the same amount to those who donate. Democrats argue lawmakers shouldn't be punished for breaking quorum, something they call a constitutional right for lawmakers. I'm Blaze Gainey in Austin.
There are more than 830 new laws on the books in Texas as of Labor Day, and they touch on everything from education to healthcare to shrimp. Yes, shrimp. Senate Bill 823 requires food service suppliers and wholesalers to indicate whether the shrimp they're selling is farm-raised right there on the box, so your favorite seafood joint might think twice about what it's buying. The measure went into effect on Monday. The hope is that it'll give consumers confidence that the Gulf or Texas shrimp they're about to eat is the real deal, and that the change will in turn help the struggling shrimp industry along the Texas Gulf Coast. The Texas Newsroom's Anna Campbell tells us why that matters by taking us to South Padre Island.
I'm looking out at my favorite expanse of Earth. It's about 6 hours south from where I live in Austin, but feels a universe away. The world's longest barrier island, true story, a haven for sea turtles and snowbirds alike, South Padre Island.
Somewhere between Texas and Mexico.
Maybe you know it or have always meant to visit. Maybe you've been, but would rather forget.
Thank you! Spring breakers, Jay. Thank you!
To me, this is home. As a kid, I trapped hermit crabs in the bay and ate fresh boiled shrimp my mom had cooked to perfection. On Saturday nights, my parents listened to live music at bars with names like Wahoo Saloon and Coconuts. In the 1950s, my grandfather, Antonio Ferraz, a.k.a. Tony Bananas, brought boatloads of them from tropical places to sell to Americans right here, through the port of Brownsville. And there's a good chance Tony Bananas crossed paths with James Galloway's grandfather back in the day. Well, they're boats anyway. So are these your boats?
This one is.
Okay.
We can go on the boat and I can show you, more or less how the boat's working, not really? No. No? Okay.
James and his family are kind of known for shrimping. They've been selling it down here for 3 generations. James's grandfather taught his dad how to shrimp, and James's dad taught him how to shrimp.
I started working on a bay shrimp boat when I was 14 years old, so I did that for 4 or 5 years, while I was homeschooling. Then, at 19, I went offshore drilling. I did that for about 9 years. I worked overseas, Africa, Brazil, and Korea.
But James had always wanted to own his own fishing boats. So when a family friend was getting out of the shrimping business and wanted to offload his vessels, James jumped at the opportunity. He returned to South Texas and officially entered the family business.
When a boat comes in from a trip, the truck will pull up there, and then we'll pull the boat here, and then they just throw the sacks of shrimp onto that belt, and they'll load them right onto the truck.
It's been 5 years since he bought his first boat. James says he has yet to take a paycheck from shrimping.
Some of our boats, we've been working them a lot, so a lot of them need to be, redo the whole thing, or paint everything and go through everything. But stuff's been kind of tough lately, it's kind of hard to do your proper maintenance like you're supposed to. So fortunate for me, I have other businesses, so this is not my only income.
Brownsville used to be known as the shrimp capital of the world. At the height of the local industry, some 450 shrimping boats would go out into the bay at the start of the shrimping season to catch highly coveted Texas browns that restaurants around the world would boast about on their menus.
10 or 20 years ago, half the shrimp in the U.S. was wild-caught Gulf shrimp.
That's Texas Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller.
Now, it's less than 10%. 90% of the shrimp sold in the United States now is farm-raised. I've got a lot of problems with that.
But here's the thing about farm-raised shrimp. Miller says outside of their natural habitat, shrimp will eat their own excrement, or even each other. That makes them sick, so they're pumped with antibiotics and other medications, some that are banned in the U.S., to keep them healthy. And those shrimp farms are also known for using slave labor. Still, farm-raised shrimp has flooded the market in the U.S. That, plus high fuel costs, labor shortages, and ever-tightening federal regulations, has nearly gutted the Texas shrimp industry.
We're seeing the number of shrimp boats shrink. Another 2 years, if it's going like it is, 3, there will be nobody left. That's that bad.
But hope is on the horizon. Shrimpers say Texas's new labeling law is a good start. They point to places like Louisiana, where restaurants are forced to say on their menus whether they're serving farmed or wild-caught shrimp. I know, it's just shrimp. But behind that little pink crustacean on your plate is a strong tradition that helped put South Texas on the map and continues to support local families like James Galloway's.
There's so much that go into the shrimping industry, the people that work on the boats, prepare the boats, parts, the nets. There's just so much that goes on in it that it's just a big circle. People don't realize.
Wild-caught shrimp isn't that much more expensive, and trust this native South Texan when I tell you it's way better than the other stuff. Just don't overcook it. Reporting from South Padre Island, I'm Anna Campbell.
The McAllen Public Library's 12th annual South Texas Book Festival will happen October 25th. Library officials announced details of the festival at a press conference yesterday.
Every child that comes is going to walk away with a book.
That was Joseph Ryan, president of the McAllen Public Library Advisory Board, speaking with KRGV at the press conference. The theme for this year's festival is Celebrate Our Roots and Stories, in honor of the stories and traditions that shape South Texas. The event is free and open to the public. In sports, Goliad High School, Hondo High School, and other South Texas schools were among over 30 in the state awarded $5,000 each from T-Mobile. It's part of the company's Friday night 5G Lights competition, which supports under-resourced high school football programs nationwide. The grants totaling $185,000 for Texas schools will help purchases for equipment, uniforms, safety upgrades, and travel. And Corpus Christi Hook James Hicks struck out 12 batters while allowing 2 base runners over 6 frames as the Hooks rolled past the San Antonio Missions 7-1 last night on the road. The 12 strikeouts by Hicks is a personal best and the most by a Corpus Christi arm this year. Corpus Christi held hitless over the first 4 innings, busted through with a 5 spot in the 8th. Trevor Austin's triple to center kick-started the rally, leading to RBI singles from Jaron Williams, Lucas Spence, and Pascanal Ferreras. Ferreras is 3 for 7 with 2 doubles, 3 RBIs, and 2 walks to start the week. The series continues tonight in San Antonio. And that is the latest news and information on South Texas Midday. I'm Rob Boskamp. Your community arts calendar and more is on the way.